safety as I give you a day in the life of online. No, not online. I'm actually there. Facilities maintenance.
Yep, here we are, back in the shop. Less than 2 weeks later, and our toilets are backing up again. You see, here's what I'm thinking. I've got 2 toilets here. Both are backed up. Water will not go through if you run the taps or flush the toilets. The water just erupts. This one is closest to where things are heading out of the building. So that tells me that the clog is after this toilet. But if I don't empty the water out of both toilets, and I pull this toilet here to get closest to where the clog probably is, I could potentially have water coming up through the floor like a geyser. And I kind of want to avoid that, which is why I am emptying as much water out of these 2 toilets as I can possibly do at the front end here. And that's the problem when you're dealing with sewer line issues. You don't always know where the blockage is actually happening. Less than 2 weeks ago, I was out back and I cleared a blockage back there. Chances are the issue is at the same location, but I don't know for sure. And so I'm coming right back to the beginning and I'm going to work my way through until I get a definitive answer. Because even though I cleared a blockage at the back of the shop, it doesn't mean that there aren't issues inside the shop as well. And if I have learned anything, that is to not take anything for granted around here. And if this doesn't work, I'm bringing in an inspection camera to inspect the sewer line from tip to tail. Toilet pulled, I have access to the sewer drain, and we have standing water in the drain. The fear, whenever you do something like this, is that whatever is down there, I'd like to be able to get it out, as opposed to just pushing it further down the line and potentially causing problems. Because at this point, I don't know what it is. But all I can do is send my auger down and hopefully clear the blockage and get things flowing again. A variety of different heads that I could stick on here, and if I thought that I could grab something and retract it, I would use this and hopefully hook it and then just pull it back. I don't know if that's going to be effective at all. I think what I'll leave on there is what I have, which is essentially kind of a macerator. It'll kind of go through anything. If I had a line that had tree roots in it or something, this is what I would be using. And possibly in this situation, it's my best option as well. Well, this was a bust. After a frustrating few minutes and running up against something hard, maybe only 15 feet in, I decided to call in a plumber with an inspection camera. And wouldn't you know, he ran into the same problems as I did. That hard wall that I was hitting was the underside of the other toilet. The original installers didn't connect the lines coming from the toilets themselves into their own individual TYs into the main sewer line. For whatever reason, they decided to interconnect the toilets first through a double TY, which, while technically legal, is a horrible way to do it, because what ended up happening is my auger and his inspection camera, rather than following the yellow arrow, followed the red arrow and just went straight through to the other toilet. And so we had to access the sewer line from the next clean out, which is where we started to have an inkling that we might be dealing with a bigger problem than we first thought. We sent the inspection camera down the clean out that I had cleared the concrete from 2 weeks earlier, and we learned 2 things. One, that the sewer line did not run from one clean out to the next in a straight line. After leaving the building, it went all the way across the gap and then turned the corner underneath the retaining wall. Which brings me to the second thing we learned, and that is the weight of the retaining wall has broken the sewer line, and being one of those problems that you don't come back from, it really left us with only one course of action. because it's not really possible to dig underneath the retaining wall like this and make a repair. And then there's no guarantees even after you make the repair that it doesn't happen again or happen again in a different location under the retaining wall. I decided that the best course of action would be to bypass that area altogether. And I also decided that because I have so many other jobs that I need to take care of, that I can't do if I'm stuck behind the shop here for a day digging a ditch, that I'll let the plumber sub that part of the project out. Well, the guys have left the site, and so I'm not sure what their plan of attack is here. They started at this end over here, and they've backfilled it again. I'm not sure why they backfilled it in. Maybe they realized that they've kind of painted themselves into a corner with the little excavator here. Because my suggestion to them when they came in here was to start at one end and just work their way along, which is what I thought they were doing. And they came in here and started working their way this way. Then I would have thought that they would have just continued all the way back to there, and by the time they got to there, the excavator would be sitting over on the far side where that pile of concrete is. But it's not. It's here. Huh, I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Well, good morning, it's the next day. I'm curious to see how far these guys got, because they're about a half a day behind. Okay, good. They figured out that they needed to be on this side of the ditch in order to be not stuck in the middle. This is what they should have done in the first place, actually, is go to one end and work your way back, not start and work your way forward, and then realize that you got to get over to the other side somehow. So fill it back in so you can drive back over. Yeah, they painted themselves into a corner. Yep, that's exactly what they did. Be interesting to see what they end up doing with the invoice and the estimate. I say that because you always wonder, right? In this instance, the trench didn't get any longer, didn't get any deeper. I don't think the quote was underpriced by any means. If anything, I thought it was a little high. But perhaps I underestimated how much time it would take for them to actually dig the hole. Who knows? I think they did too. Mind you, like I said, they painted themselves to a corner and kind of got stuck and then had to backtrack and go at it differently. So I guess we'll find out. At any rate, it looks like they're back on track, and hopefully they can get this finished today. I'll check in with them later. Wow, it's 10 a.m. There's this weird glowiness in the sky. I'm not really sure what that is. Let's see where they're at. Wow, they're not here. However, it does look like they've started laying pipe and figured out their slope. Now you need about a 1/4 inch of slope every foot. And so that's the trick. Standing in a ditch and shoveling heavy mud is another reason why I thought this would be a good job for somebody else. And with the final piece ready to be glued in place, we're ready to backfill and bring the system back online. Happy days.